Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well.
Sweet.
I was just trying to remember what we're going to talk about. Then I realized we don't have to remember because we don't know.
We don't know. That we will be surprised by your questions, dear listener.
We
which
have,
I think Octavia is going to read to us.
Yep. Octavia is filling the role of Donald today.
Yes.
Does that mean that for today only we're not paying Octavia?
That's true. This is purely voluntary.
I do play my employees, everyone. Ignore Dan. Octavia, are you mic'd?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Yeah.
So Octavia, who is social media guru over here, went to social media and said, give me some questions for Dan and Brandon, because Donald's probably like hanging out with his girlfriend or something, right?
He told me it's not his girlfriend.
Not his girlfriend?
I don't know what it is.
He specifically said that?
Because I asked him about it.
Okay.
I mean, I think he had social plans tonight
Social plans.
of some sort. Yes.
Social plans of some sort. We'll have to ask him next time.
Yeah.
We appreciate him having social plans.
I want to point out that this morning, as a team building activity,
Yes.
Octavia and Donald and the whole rest of the publicity and marketing department grabbed me, because I don't have a department, and we all went to see Mickey 17.
Oh, how was it?
I actually loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I realized halfway through that I had no idea what it was about, and that I couldn't predict a single plot turn in it. And I love that about when a movie can do that.
That's cool.
Yeah. You should see it so we can talk about
I
it.
have very much wanted to see it. I worry it's too dark for Emily to want to see. Just knowing some of the premise, and ergo, it's harder for me to get to films if Emily doesn't want to see them.
Yeah.
Because we tend to go to films on our date night. So
I
might
it's
have to.
dark-ish. I didn't think it was super dark, but I am a bad judge of those
You are
things.
Dan Wells.
Yeah.
Yes. Like dark, comedic dark gallows humor is your wheelhouse, and this is absolutely gallows humor type thing.
Very
But
much.
It's the director Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah.
And it's Robert Pattinson, and those are both people that I admire a lot in the industry. So,
Yeah. It's good. It's worth seeing.
here's a question for you. I just kind of half flubbed a signature.
Okay.
When you half flub one, can you tell which of those is half flubbed? And would you cast out the half flubbed one?
I can totally tell which one is half flubbed.
Where's the line of, if you get a Brandon Sanderson book, do you want the signatures where he was like, off his A game for the signature and he made the loop wrong or something like that? Is that a selling point?
I think if you write on it, I flubbed this one, that will make it awesome.
It would make it awesome if I were in person, but let's say you're a collector who's buying this for your collection and you like the really pristine ones. Let's say you're one of the collectors who it bothers you if a page is folded on the tip, or some of the foiling didn't get completely pressed. I don't want that person to end up with this one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? That's the thing. So, but it's so close to not being flubbed. I think I'm going to toss it.
Okay. Goodbye.
We could give it away.
Yeah, you could give it. You could give it away.
Can I have it?
Why do you want it, Ollie?
I put random things on my wall. Can I put it on my wall?
Yes, you can put it on your wall. I don't know
Now
why.
it's a super collector item.
Why do you want that?
Are y'all ready for questions?
I
Yes.
think we are.
Hit us with
right.
some questions.
Well, how silly do you want them to be?
A mix of silly and non-silly would, I think, be the best.
All
I think
right.
the audience prefers silly.
Okay.
Probably.
Well, we'll start with favorite memories of each other, which I think is not silly,
Oh,
but
that's a
heartwarming.
sweet one.
Favorite memories of each
Favorite
other.
memories of each other.
Let's see. One of my favorite memories is like when the first time we met for a writing group in Ben's office, or his boss's office. And just how it actually, we failed dramatically, right? Because I had given you all Elantris and been like, why don't you guys read my book and then I'll read your books. And we tried to workshop an entire book in one session. Do you remember this?
I do.
And we got together, and you guys are like, and you were like, we can't workshop a whole book. I don't know where to begin, other than you should not call it The Spirit of Adonis.
I'm actually reading Elantris, and I read that part, and I actually remember it.
But I remember us jiving so well and clicking so well, like narratively, where I was talking about, what could I fix in the book and things like that. Anyway, it was just like, it was kind of a, hey, I found something here moment. So
Yeah.
that is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I agree. One of my favorite memories of Brandon, back in college, before we graduated, we worked on The Leading Edge, which is BYU's student science fiction magazine. It's super awesome. And we would often have late night parties where we would get into the computer lab and play StarCraft together, while one or two unlucky production people had to work on the magazine.
Yes.
And that was often Brandon, because you were in the production side rather than the editorial. And I remember at one point there were a couple other of the women that worked there that were trying to get your attention on various projects. And you said, ladies, there is plenty of Brandon to go around. And that's one of my favorites. It cracked up the entire computer lab at like 1 a.m.
I remember that. I remember when we were doing that. We were trying to get the issue out on time. I remember you making a card game.
I did.
Leading Edge.
I made a Leading Edge card game. I still have it.
Game, where we would play a game like a Magic the Gathering style game, but more deck builder, like it's all self-contained. And it was full of Dan's favorite jokes about all the people that were all of our friends. There were cards named after all the dumb things we had all said through the course of working together for several years on this magazine.
It was great.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I also specifically remember, this isn't about you, that night playing StarCraft, Karen, who is our continuity person today, she and I were on a team, and she did all the base building, and I did all the attacking, and it was the best partnership, the best teammate I've ever had.
That's perfect for Karen. She doesn't want to attack. She just wants to organize the things and get them all in rows. Yeah, she would be the perfect person to have.
She built me armies faster than I can ever build them on my own.
The magazine, Ben was our poetry editor. To this day, that cracks me up because someone had to be poetry editor. None of us did poetry, and Ben's like, I'll do it. Our CS guy, right? Our friend who,
he did a good job.
He actually did. We did get a poem written in crayon, written to him that I don't think he chose, but.
Yeah. All right. What's another question?
All right. Here's a silly one. How long do they think it would take to adjust to their thumbs switching to the other side of their hands?
So, like, you're swapping your thumb and your pinky, or your thumb is on. Yeah, swapping thumb and pinky has got to be what that means.
Or just the thumb being on the pinky side instead of the index
switching
finger
your
side?
thumbs on opposite hands.
Oh, thumbs on opposite hands? Because you could also say getting used to a thumb growing out of the back of your palm. Because, opposite side. Or,
yeah.
I feel like what it means is it would go from here and then go to the other side.
Yeah.
I think we would adjust faster than it would take us to decide what the question is actually asking. Because we like to get to the fiddly bits. I don't know. People adjust to things like that remarkably fast.
Yeah. I think like any, I think I would approach it as like a disability. Like if I didn't have a hand, how would I get by with just one hand? If my thumbs were on the wrong sides of my hands, how would I get by and learn it fairly quickly?
Fairly quickly, still meaning probably months and months, right? But not years and years.
It would be really hard to type.
Yeah.
I would miss the space bar for at least a year.
And maybe as a counter to that, I have a keyboard right now that has the power off button, where the second half of the backspace button was on my previous keyboard.
Oh.
Scar, when did we buy these new? You buy these new ones? Like when you joined, right? That's one of the first things I had to do.
April 23.
So 2 years later, and I still regularly turn off my computer
While trying to backspace.
backspace.
That's awesome.
And it is one of the most frustrating things ever. And I think it's partially because it's only half the backspace. And normally I hit the right side of the backspace and it's the left side or vice versa. Where my finger naturally goes doesn't turn the computer off. But where if my finger slides a little bit, it does. And that was a large double-sized backspace on my last one. And now it's half power button, half backspace.
Okay.
Which is just a terrible place for the power button.
Yeah.
Like, what were they thinking? And it's the same model. Like, they took the power button from up on the side, the top of the screen, where you could never hit it on accident, and they put it next to the backspace button,
Which we use all the time.
which you use all the time. And fortunately, in a modern computer, it just turns off your screen and sends it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like it powers it down.
Just imagine how well you'd be able to turn your computer off if your thumb was on the wrong side of your hand.
Yeah. So this is maybe me saying, I don't know how soon I would get used to it if 2 years later I'm still occasionally turning my computer off.
That's true.
This person wants to know which is better, Spaceballs or Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, wow. What an excellent question.
Which is better, Spaceballs or Holy Grail? Are you mic'd, Octavia?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is hard because they express two very different but similar kinds of parody / satire, right?
Yeah.
Like Mel Brooks is much more on what I would say the parody side, and Holy Grail is much more on the satire side.
Yeah.
If I can make a line between those, but both of them are doing a fair amount of either. Spaceballs has a better ending.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like the ending of Holy Grail.
Holy Grail.
I know it's divisive. I understand why they did it.
I love that it exists, but I always wish there was more.
Yeah, it's a Andy Kaufman-esque ending where it's just like the joke is on you, and that's kind of brilliant, but it also is the weakest part of the whole film. It works exactly one time, and every other joke and skit, you can just sit there and laugh, and then that part happens, you're like, all right, the joke's been on me before. It's just time to turn the film off.
Yeah.
So that compared to, what are those things coming out of her nose, is just a wonderful, brilliant last scene. Do you remember Spaceballs at all?
I do remember Spaceballs. I don't remember something coming out of her nose.
At the end, they crash land, and it's the Statue of Liberty and the
statue.
Yeah. And just like the way it all ends plays together really well.
My argument for Holy Grail, in favor of Holy Grail, would be that I think you can watch and enjoy that movie without knowing a ton of lore about King Arthur.
Yeah.
Whereas Spaceballs does require you to know Star Wars and Aliens and a lot of other science fiction movies in order to get the jokes.
That's a very good point. And Blazing Saddles is more watchable without any of that.
Yeah.
And is a stronger film, even though I love Spaceballs. We have an example of a Mel Brooks film that is stronger than Spaceballs and leans on these things less. And Spaceballs is kind of an example of things getting worse in that realm of moving from, the humor becoming more referential. And Spaceballs kind of one of those tipping points.
Yeah.
I'll go with Holy Grail as well. It would be much harder if it were Blazing Saddles.
Ultimately, The Producers is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
I'd put that and Blazing Saddles and actually Young Frankenstein above Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah. I would put all three of them above Spaceballs as well. It's just that I feel like The Producers and Young Frankenstein are different kinds of movies than Spaceballs and Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is that kind of joke-a-minute absurdist thing.
And taking a genre and really making fun of it, where The Producer's just a comedy. It's hilarious. It's a wonderful film, but it's not spoofing anything other than satire of blockbuster making of Broadway plays and things like that. So there we are. We have both aligned on Holy Grail. Though, would you put Blazing Saddles above Holy Grail if that were the question?
Ooh. I might. I for sure would put Producers over Holy Grail.
Okay.
Blazing Saddles is tricky. I would be torn. I don't know which way I would go.
I kind of am there with you as well. I might put Blazing Saddles just a little higher because of the weakness of the ending. And Monty Python, like, it's kind of interesting in that there are episodes of Flying Circus which I think are superior to Holy Grail.
That's true.
Right?
Now you mentioned the ending again. The ending of Blazing Saddles is phenomenal.
It's amazing. So Like the Wind, Old Women.
I got to put that. Oh, So Like the Wind.
Oh, no,
dude, that's Three Amigos.
That's Three Amigos. Yeah,
but
you're
like
right.
when they, they break out of the set and they chase themselves into the premiere of their own movie.
It's what they're trying to do in the same sort of thing, but it works.
Yeah, and it works so much better. So now that I'm thinking of that, I will put Blazing Saddles above Holy Grail.
Okay. Yeah, I just reminded I haven't ever showed my kids Three Amigos, and I keep talking about doing that. But that's a similar but different movie. So I would do that as well. Like I said, there are episodes of Flying Circus that I think are better than Holy Grail, even though Holy Grail is great. Holy Grail misses one of the most brilliant aspects about Monty Python because it's all about the same thing. They can't do what they did in Flying Circus, which is stealth make it all about the same thing.
Yeah.
And so in Flying Circus, where it gets really genius is you have all these unrelated skits that are secretly on a theme, that are secretly being intertwined. And by the end, you see how they kind of click together in an interesting overarching satire of some concept or just a running gag altogether.
Yeah.
And Holy Grail, even though it's all the same characters and it feels like a series of sketches that pulled together into a film, whereas Flying Circus, being a series of sketches that you realize had a greater meaning at the end, is just a little smarter for me sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good way to phrase it.
All right. So this person wants y'all to each pitch a reality TV show.
Each pitch a reality TV show. Didn't you have a really cool reality TV show book idea once?
Yeah.
That you wanted to do?
I still want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is saying it too much? Does that give away the idea? Do you want to not say it? Because I know you've had a really cool reality show.
It's really cool. I don't want to say it because I still want to write it.
Yeah. So let's pitch something else.
Let's pitch something else. A reality show.
It's been really hard. Like, people have tried so much. We talked about this in the podcast, actually, to make book-focused reality TV. They want the Great British Bake Show, but authors. And it's because there's just nothing to do. Like, you can watch someone failing at baking and it's interesting, or succeeding at baking and it's interesting.
Well, and it's visual.
And someone trying a bake and tasting it is also visual. Writing a book is like, it's just...
Another person asked for a dating reality TV show pitch.
Dating reality TV show.
Oh.
Why? You don't want us in charge of any of these things. Have you heard what happens when we get together? All right. Food heist, dating reality TV show.
Okay.
What do we do with it?
Food heist,
dating reality show. Speed dating food heist. You are each, it's like MasterChef or whatever that is. You're each given an ingredient to steal. And while you're stealing it, you have to come up with what you're going to make with this against the other team. You have to acquire the best ingredients. And then while you're doing it, you're going to be backstabbing your teammates.
Yeah.
Because, heist, right?
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to be playing the politics of who's getting backstabbed for the money and things like this. Food heist, the reality show.
Okay, but I'm going to say that every week they will pair you with a different food heister.
Oh, yeah.
And see how well you click with each other.
Yeah.
I
Because you're
need
trying
to
to build your
know-
heist team.
Yeah.
Right? Over time. In the end, who's going to be your heist team? And you got to get the ingredients. You got to steal the chefs, because food heist, that's one of the ingredients, is get yourself a chef. You got to go grab Gordon Ramsay.
So it's food heist kidnapping as well.
Yes. Well, of course. Of
course.
Yeah. As you have said before, anything is food if you try hard enough.
If you try hard enough.
And so you got to get yourself a chef. You've got to impress the people, the mafia leaders of food heist prison.
You have to create the best meal and have found true love.
Yes.
With someone on your heist team.
And you have to break out of food heist prison. That's right. You got to get outside and get the ingredients and bring them back, along with Gordon Ramsay or Guy Fieri or something like that.
Or is this a show where
Very good.
where they specifically take people from food heist prison? We get some of the greats from food heist prison.
That's true. They don't have to break out. That's too much.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm twisting too much. You're getting the greats of food heist prison.
We definitely don't want this idea to go over the top.
We don't want to go over the top. We gotta stay realistic.
I'm not
this,
sure
right?
that y'all have watched a dating reality show before.
Have we watched a dating reality show? There's roses involved.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they've
yeah.
got to eat the roses. Yeah, you give people roses.
And the mastermind of the team has all of the hackers lined up.
Yeah.
And gives a rose to one of them
Uh-huh.
and says, "I choose you for my heist team."
That's right. Because at the end, there's all these people, and you're going to have to build the best heist team out of them, and they're going to have to say yes. And if they don't say yes to your team, you
Yeah.
just don't get to fill that slot.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? So
Then you just don't have a hacker.
do you pick the second best hacker? Do you pick the hacker you have the best relationship with, or do you pick the best hacker because you want the best shot? Yeah.
So we make this like The Bachelor,
yes.
where the mastermind of each team is a dude.
Yes.
And then every other position is filled by a woman.
It's got to be dating, they said.
Yeah.
I think, that might, we're doing, or maybe we just call it, dating in general, meaning you're making a team that does not have to have romance.
Oh, that's less fun.
That's less fun. But, I mean, I guess we can go a little over the top with this, but there you are. This is, what are we going to call this?
We're gonna
Food for thought. Well, you got to put heist in there somehow.
with a good heisty pun. We're gonna
Yeah.
call it buns glazing.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear. All right. This is what you've done to us, internet. Don't ask for things you don't want to receive. I'll just warn you of that. Buns glazing.
Yeah.
That will be the title of this episode.
Sweet.
This person wants to know, what are y'all's most embarrassing moments?
Most embarrassing moments?
I know exactly what my most
Oh,
embarrassing
yeah?
moment is.
You tell me because
And
I'm sure I
I am
blocked mine
filled with shame about it.
out. Okay.
My year, it was in between high school and college. I
Okay.
had graduated and I spent 3 months working at a place called Sugar House Awning.
Mm-hmm.
And we made awnings and boat covers and anything that had canvas, we made it.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked in the front, and one of the owner's daughters, who was 1 year younger than me, she worked as a clerk as well. And so we got to know each other really well. And I am still, to this day, ashamed of myself for this.
Okay.
They were talking very excitedly that she wanted to apply to the
Uh-huh.
the University of Utah, and she had not gotten a scholarship, but then at the last minute she did.
Mm-hmm.
And what went through my mind was, oh, the U offered me a scholarship and I didn't take it. So maybe they have a second round of scholarships
Right.
that they give out after people have said no.
Oh, man, I can see where this
which
is going.
may or may not be true, but the bad part is that I said it out loud,
Yeah.
making her feel bad. I feel really bad about this. It was such a foot in your mouth dipshit thing to say.
Yeah, that's a total Helen moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I if you're out there listening, I apologize for saying that horribly rude thing.
Man, mine is far less meaningful. I'm not sure if it's the most embarrassing, but when I was in high school senior year, I was in the jazz band, and we were doing one of our performances, and the trumpets are like, we should do something so we look cool. And we decided to roll our jeans up to our knees as the thing we would do to look cool in jazz band. And even while we're doing it, I'm like, this is cool, right? We're rebels will stand out. Like they were like slacks because we're like, it wasn't jeans. It was like, we're like
band uniforms.
Not band uniforms, it's jazz band. So in jazz band, you're going to wear slacks and a tie.
Yeah.
Right? You can do your tie undone because it's jazz, but, and we did that. We looked so stupid. We looked incredibly stupid. And we made it worse by we're all like trying to act cool because we're in jazz band in Lincoln, Nebraska. And we like in the middle, and this is something I specifically did. You have a thing, and I can't even remember what it's called because it's been so long, but it's a plunger you put in front of your trumpet to make it go wah, 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 and things like that. You might just call it a plunger. And, like we got to the point where we're like all being cool and we got done with the wah, wah, wah part and I tossed mine over my shoulder. And everyone's like, yeah, and they tossed theirs over their shoulder. 2 pages later was another wah, wah, wah part that I had completely forgotten that we had. And so we all had to be like, oh, crap, and jump down with our pants up to our knees, like rolled up, and grab our plungers and get back into place. And we could see our director. He had tried so hard to instill us that jazz is cool because he started a jazz band because he loved jazz. There hadn't been one before. We did not get it. We didn't get it at all. We were all marching band people, and he tried to talk about feel the jazz. Jazz is cool. Like, we had no idea. We're marching band trumpeters. And we're from Lincoln, Nebraska. We have no idea what coolness is. And man, yeah.
Yeah.
The moment where I realized I had thrown my plunger and everyone else had followed me and that we needed them again was probably the most embarrassing thing.
That's awesome. I am asking you, dear listeners, I want everyone at Nexus this year to cosplay as Brandon the trumpet player with pants rolled up to his knees.
Don't do this. You'll look stupid and no one will know why.
No.
Don't do it.
The cool people will know why.
No. Do not do this. Don't throw plungers at me either.
Yeah, definitely don't throw plungers.
Yep. Now people are gonna cosplay me.
People are gonna do it.
It was so dumb.
It's a good costume because you don't need a plunger because you didn't have one.
At least I was still in high school. By college you should know better, right?
Yeah. As a high school graduate, I should have known better.
As someone who
she was a really good friend too.
At least 4 or 5 months
so dumb.
Older than me, you should have magically grown a large level
of maturity and social awareness.
Maturity. Yeah.
Well, a ridiculous amount of people sent in statements or questions about cheese, so I feel like I must mention that.
Ask us a cheese question.
There's not really questions. They
Do
just
we
want
like
you
cheese?
talking about cheese.
They just want us to talk about cheese.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like cheese.
I love cheese.
I don't like, and this is I don't like blue cheeses. I don't even like a gorgonzola. But I do like goat cheeses.
Good.
So that's, maybe that redeems me a little bit. I don't like the really fragrant cheeses. One time, I think I told the story last week that the publishers don't know what to do with me when I get on the New York Times list because they normally send champagne. So they search for things to send me. One time we were in writing group and we got a giant box of very fragrant cheese.
Fragrant cheese. There was one in particular we had to put outside.
And I seem to recall that you loved it. You took that one home.
I did.
Yeah. So Dan will eat any of these cheeses.
I love the cheeses. That one, I don't remember what it was actually called, but my wife called it Hafarty.
Oh, Don needs to come on and join us for Food Heist stories because Hafarty is a wonderful pun.
It's a very good pun.
I feel very weird because now I am like, if you haven't learned, I am now like snooty and bougie, right? I always was a little this way. Now I back it up with actually being able to spend the money. And so when I'm at restaurants, there's often a charcuterie plate. Yeah. I like cheese. I like bread. I like all the little fixins they put on there.
Yeah.
I like the salamis. And so I say, ooh, what's on your charcuterie? And then they tell me, expecting as if I will know, these very distinctive cheeses because I say it with authority and I'm the person paying for the meal. And I have to be like it. And I think this is at least to my credit. I say, I have no idea what any of those are. Can you tell me about those cheeses? And I can never, remember what is what.
You don't just pretend?
I don't just
You're
pretend.
You're not like, ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I have them tell me, and then I try them, and then I immediately forget which ones they were because there's 7 million cheeses. But I can often say, oh, that one was really good. Yeah. When we were at Lakai last time, every one of the cheeses was fantastic. They were bet. On their charcuterie plate were so good. They had one that was like it had. And normally I don't like mixing my salty and my sweet, but it had berries in it, and it was made with a certain. They had a whole thing about like the bees use this type of and it was so good.
Cool.
So. Anyway, see, you can tell. I can't even tell you about the fancy cheeses.
About the fancy cheese.
I should be the rich guy that can tell you about, you should love this fancy cheese.
Cheeses. One thing I want to recommend, you won't like it because you don't like blue cheese.
Yeah.
But if you are a fan of blue cheese, if you're a fan of that kind of it's gone bad kind of cheese, try it with dark chocolate.
Okay.
It really adds something to it. It's great.
So there's some cheese thing. I like cheeses. I'll even try a blue cheese if it's one I haven't tried before. I just know I don't generally like them.
Yeah, which is fair.
They had one that made your mouth numb in Spain. That is from the special cave. You're not going to Spain with us this year, are you?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that I am, so I
last
assume
time we took, like, Isaac and Kara came kind of on their own when we went to this con in Spain, and there was a cheese. We went on a food tour. You ever done this?
No, not in Spain.
A lot of big cities will do a food tour where you just walk from place to place and try one bite of something that is representative of the culture or the city or things. And one of the things they had was this cheese. So we all tried it. They all loved it, but it really did deaden parts of your mouth.
That's interesting.
And they're like,
okay,
we put this in a cave for 17 years, and we cultivate this special mold from the back guano, which we then all that stuff. And I did not like it.
No, well, okay.
I didn't like taking a shot of olive oil either. And they all on the food tour, everyone's like, oh yes, the olive oil. And you taste the olive oil, which tastes like oil.
Yeah.
And I am unable to tell the difference between olive oils raw. Cooked, some of the cool ones they gave us, I could tell the differences that they infused them with things. But yeah,
interesting.
Loved the olives, all the different olives that they had.
That would be great. I would love olives.
All the different hams were really interesting to try.
Have y'all ever talked about the last meals that you would eat?
Like my last meal before execution?
Correct.
Oh, maybe we'll stop here. What would be your last meal before execution, Dan? This is morbid. You must love it.
My last meal before execution, it would be a chile relleno.
If we can pull anything from time, it is my grandma's mac and cheese. But that's not. That's not really what we can do.
Someone has to make it for you.
Someone has to make it for me.
Yeah.
So my mom is still around. I would probably have my mom's fried rice.
Oh,
I really like her fried rice.
Cool.
So.
Awesome.
Not very interesting. I'm sorry. But I guess we could add some things. Like I would have a side of mac and cheese, my wife's mac and cheese, because I like mac and cheese. A few bits of popcorn to remind me of my favorite snack food, Some good barbecue maybe.
Yeah. We could add
brisket.
stuff, a really great
or maybe a steak.
Rib. I would probably want to add a steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the pina colada that they serve in the fancy buffet at the PCC.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
still
that
one of
thing
my
is
favorite
amazing.
drinks
It is
that
so
I've
good.
ever had.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Internet. Unless you were asking because you're going to murder me, in which case, no, you don't get to know.